I've always believed in female friendship, sincerity, and kindness. And although thousands of people say that there is no friendship between women, I could set myself and my best friend Laura as an example. She and I were once best friends, or not even friends, we were like real sisters. But then something happened between us, and now you will understand what the matter is. My name is Annabelle, or you can just say Anna. One day, my family and I moved to another state because of our sick grandma. We used to live in Chicago, and in general, everything suited us. We had our own house there, I went to an expensive school, my mom and dad worked, and my nanny, Ellie, looked after me and my little sister. I liked her because she was the one who raised me. It was she who taught me that good, kind things happen in life. For example, my mother always forbade me to feed stray cats and dogs because she believed that they spread sickness around. But with Ellie, it was different. She always bought something for them to eat at the nearest store and fed the animals. Ellie didn't have a family, and maybe that's why she treated me and my little sister so kindly. She raised us like her own children. I remember Ellie telling us the story of her best friend. She was a very close person to her. Once, they went on vacation with other friends. They were still so young, and Ellie wanted to swim in the river and could not resist and went in, and when she was immediately carried away by the current, and only her friend rushed after her, saved her, but she herself could not get out. This is the kind of friendship they had. They were ready to sacrifice themselves for each other. I listened to the story and I always wanted to have such a reliable, loyal friend. Well, then everything started spinning by itself. Our grandma fell ill and my parents decided to move to live with her to take care of her. We sold the house in Chicago and the nanny did not want to leave the city where she lived all her life, so she stayed there. I was terribly sad to part ways with her, but there was no way out. In the end, when we moved to another state, it was a great excuse to try to build a new life, or as my mom said, I understood that we would be stuck there for a long, so I had to come to terms with it. First of all, they found another school for me. Oh, it was a nightmare. I changed school for the first time and I did not know how to cope with that. How does one even manage that? To my surprise, unlike me, my little sister was not worried at all. On the contrary, she liked everything new and she treated it like an adventure. Well, I will remember my first day of school for a long time. I came early to school and I just stood there for about 20 minutes until they allowed to enter the classrooms. In these endless minutes, I saw that others were looking at me. They were all new to me and now I was one of them. I did not know how to start meeting people and, in general, whether to start at all. Usually, Ellie gave me great advice and it is a pity that she was not there with me. While I was hesitating in the corner, the teacher came and let everyone into the classroom and then she officially introduced me to my classmates. And that was it. All the fun began. As soon as they found out where I came from, they began to give me the side eye. I did not know what wrong my city did to them. When I was leaving the classroom, someone tried to trip me up, and I almost fell on my face on the floor. But at that moment, Laura, the very girl who became my best friend, caught me. She was bitchy by nature, but she treated me with kindness. She said that she liked me, and since then we've become inseparable. At first, she was like a personal security guard for me. She always protected me from everyone. She talked about the local order, about the school, the teachers and townspeople, and she gave me great advice on any topic ranging from shopping to how and with whom to talk. I was calm with her. I felt truly supported and it gave me great confidence. And my parents were also calm because now I had a friend. And we talked even more and more often. We saw each other all the time and it seemed like we were together all the time. We witnessed each other's life, all the ups and downs, from small victories to big defeats. We poured our souls to each other at nights, talked about everything on the phone. It even seemed to me that I did not remember life before her. I felt so good with this person. I really did not understand the phrase, there is no such thing as female friendship. And I wanted to say something like, you just haven't met Laura. Full of confidence that it would be always like this. We made plans to get married on the same day, to have children and be close family friends. The future was perfect in our girly dreams, but life had its own plans for us. It all started with the words beauty contest, which was held at our school. This was the first competition of this sort, and Laura was determined to participate on behalf of our class, and I, as her best friend, supported her because I considered her a worthy contender. She was beautiful, slim, smart, she simply must win. Not surprisingly, no one else from our class applied because everyone was confident in her victory. Since the competition was announced at school, all the girls seemed to be obsessed with it. All the rumors were about this, and my brain almost dried up. Laura and I carefully reread all the requirements and began the preparations. Oh, how much work had to be done to come up with a look, choose a dress, do her hair, manicure, pedicure. Oh God! In addition, it was necessary to come up with a business card for yourself in the form of a song, poem, or a dance to answer the jury's questions and talk about your family. So, one of the days of the preparations, we came to school where Laura was bickering with another annoying girl named Milana. She called her a seal and my friend went crazy. Then she started a fight with her and left her without a couple of tufts of hair. Angry Milana screamed at the top of her voice with anger, called Laura a mop and me her dog. This insult somehow touched me very deep, but I did not even immediately understand what it meant. Laura wanted to take my hand and leave, but I took my hand away and told Milana to finish what she was saying. Don't you see how she's pushing you around? Yes, from your very first day here, you run after her and look at her with faithful puppy eyes. Do you know why she's friends with you? Ask her. She already had a dog like you once, but she moved away. And you're next, Milana shouted. At this time, her friends grabbed her and took her away. I stood there in silence and digested the words. I felt really uneasy. Laura pulled me along and told me not to think about her. We went to have a snack at a cafe. I sat at the table opposite and looked at my friend. She was so beautiful, confident. She even drank a cocktail in a special way, and for the first time in so many years, I looked at us from the side. How do we look? It hurt me. I asked her about that old friend. Laura moved away from the topic, but I made her speak. They were friends just like us, only at some point when that girl came to school in a more beautiful dress, Laura started bullying her. Suddenly, it dawned on me, and I asked her what would happen if I also participated in the beauty contest. Laura laughed and said that it was not a joke anymore. But why? Or do you think I'm not worthy of it? I asked. She silently lowered her eyes. Here is when I realized that for so many years we had been friends only because it was really convenient for her. I myself was convenient for her because I'm not confident and because I'm not eye-catching like her, not as fit. I am that convenient friend against who she looks even more beautiful. I wanted to cry. I got up in silence and went home. I did not want to see anyone. It seemed that I missed a couple of days at school until my sister talked to me. I shared my problem with her and she said that she had seen Laura many times and that she does not have what I have in me. Kindness and sincerity, which is much more important than makeup. Suddenly, I wanted to show her and the others and myself that I'm not somebody's dog. I am a person. I came to school the next day and I enrolled myself in the beauty contest. Laura repeatedly came up to me and said that it was a bad idea, but I stopped talking to her. Here we silently challenged each other. I knew her whole program unless she changed it, and it was my advantage. My plus was that I was smarter than her, so I made my numbers wittier, but unfortunately not as memorable as hers. Because of our conflict, the tensions grew in the classrooms until one day we exploded. I found out that Laura somehow got into my house and ruined my dress. I could not forgive it, and I decided to act. I knew her weaknesses. Jack was the guy of her dreams with whom she was head over heels in love. I wrote a letter on her behalf and slipped it into his pocket while he was training. He publicly laughed at her and told everything to his friends. I changed the password of her TikTok and Instagram because somehow she forgot to log out from my computer at home. I sent her flowers and put cat hair on them, to which she was terribly allergic. Thus, she came to school always tearful and swollen. Well, as for dessert, I tore up all our photos, collected all the gifts that she gave me for several years, and then sent them to her house. This meant that our friendship was officially over. Laura was furious with anger, but she still could not help it, so she came to my house one time and sat on the porch and cried terribly. I did not go out to her. I was disgusted to look at her acting skills, but she sat there for several hours. My mom begged me to go see her. Somehow I agreed, and as soon as I stepped out on the street, she pounced on me and began to hug and beg for forgiveness. She said that she was wrong, that she was dishonest. I did not believe her, but she said that she swore about her sincerity, and she promised not to treat me like that ever again. I will gladly share the stage with you tomorrow, and if you win, I will be the first to congratulate you on your victory, she shouted. I forgave her. We talked about our friendship for a long time, and she admitted that it was hard for her without me. We went to our cafe and went to have our favorite cocktail and calm down. And saying goodbye, we went home. I went to bed with a peaceful heart and soul. Did I really manage to prove that I am not an empty place? I thought and felt a slight tingling in my stomach. Oh, this is probably because of tomorrow, I said to myself and fell asleep. And then the morning came, and my whole family helped me with the preparations. Everyone made me look so beautiful, and they brought me to school where I saw Laura. She was charming. We took perhaps 100 photos and then ran to the stage. We passed almost all the contests successfully, and then there was the final one, the model walk on stage. I felt bad. My stomach twisted inside me. I felt so bad that I doubled over. My mom anxiously jumped on the stage, but I could not straighten up. I asked to go to the toilet and I vomited on the way. In short, they called an ambulance and said that I was poisoned. It can be. I didn't eat anything yesterday, I said, and the doctor replied that it was not food poisoning. Could you maybe have had something to drink? He said. And at that moment, my hands trembled from shock. "Laura!" I screamed like crazy. Yes, you guessed it, she put something into my cocktail so that I was poisoned. She still did not win the competition though, because she failed in the test on intelligence. Yes, she was beautiful, but stupid. After leaving the hospital, I wanted to kill her, but my parents wanted to do it for me. They came to her house to defend my honor, but they failed to prove anything because most of the evidence was left on the floor in the school. Since that day, we are no longer friends, and we do not talk at all. I don't even look at her, to be honest. I made other friends, but Laura was left alone, as she deserved. This is our story for today. Write in the comments a few words about your best friend, if you have one, and subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to click on the bell.